Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to switch it up and do a little DIY on my girlfriend's 2009 Hyundai Sonata. It's a 2.4 liter motor. She's got a leaking oil pan gasket, so today I'm going to show you how to replace that real quick. Obviously, once you get the car off the ground, we're going to start by removing this plastic cover. Plastic cover is held on with about 10 or so 10 millimeter bolts. So let's zip them off real quick. Aside from the 10 millimeter bolts, there's a plastic screw right here on the driver's side. There might be a popper in it. You might have to pry off. It looked like it was a flathead or a Phillips head screw at some point, but it's the recessed part of it no longer exists. So it looks to be a sort of a plastic pop rivet that has been scraped away enough that it's just difficult to get off. If you just use a plastic pull tool, it should come out like so. Okay, there you go. So it's just like this. And the heat shield comes off, revealing the oil pan. Just a little plastic pop rivet, just like this. So you should just be able to use like a tack puller or a trim puller to pop that out. We now have access to our oil pan. Obviously, we need to drain the oil, so we're gonna start doing that. Just with the drain plug, it's right back here. We're gonna drain the oil, and then we'll undo the bracket that holds the air conditioning compressor, the AC compressor. We're going to undo that, which is going to give us access to a couple more bolts that hold the oil pan in. To drain the oil, we're going to remove the drain plug, which is 17 millimeters. We'll have that ready to go. Oil's draining now. So the oil leak is definitely coming from this rear driver's side corner, maybe around the whole rear, to be honest. Once the oil stops draining, I'm going to show you guys the bracket that holds the AC compressor that we'll have to remove. Here's the oil pan. Here's the rear of it. You can see where it's a little soaked with oil, so that's where the leak is coming from. So we've got bolts all the way around it. There's the drain. And then on the front side, on the front passenger side, we have the AC compressor right here. So what we need to do is remove this bracket, which is held on by 1, 2, right here. Kind of hard to see. We'll access it through the center right here, and then 3. There's 3 bolts here, 1, 2, and 3. And then we also have to loosen these 2 bolts right here, which aren't going to. We're not gonna take them all the way off since there's very little access back here, but we're just gonna pull them through. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this drain plug back on the oil pan so it doesn't drip on me. So let's go ahead and undo this bracket here. We're gonna start with these 2 bolts right here. These bolts are 12 millimeters. I'm going to use my box wrench to break these bolts loose. So we just have to get these loose. We don't have to take them all the way out, but just need to back them out of the bracket. Okay, this bolt's backed out enough. So now we can use our impact for these guys here. Get these guys out. Should just pop out now. Maybe. Oh, I forgot. There's another bolt right along the side, so there's 4 bolts total. It's closest to the serpentine belt. Right here. This guy's got some oil on it. This bracket should just fall out right now, just like so. Okay. Okay. So with the AC bracket removed, we now obviously have access to these 2 bolts right here. And these are 12 millimeter bolts. You have to be sure to use a 12 millimeter socket to remove these 2. Otherwise, you might have some issues. So just be prepared before you start this job and make sure you have a 12-point socket on hand. The rest of the bolts all the way around here are 10 millimeters. Right here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's basically 18 bolts altogether currently holding the pan to the block. After you remove the bracket that holds the air conditioning unit. Or with the bracket removed and with access to all the bolts now, let's go ahead and remove these 2 12 millimeter bolts. These are some long bolts. This guy. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to switch to the 10 millimeter socket. And let's just get all these bolts. Alright, so fortunately the pan did not come falling down on me, so I'm going to have to give it a few whacks with the dead blow, and hopefully that'll be enough to get this guy off. Alright, so I'm probably going to give it a few hits with the dead blow and see if this pan will come off. Otherwise there is a slot on the rear passenger side where you can stick a flathead screwdriver kind of right here. There's just a little allocation, perfect for a flathead. So I might do a little bit of prying there, but you want to be careful because you don't want to bend the pan. Okay, so you want to be careful hitting this pan because you don't want to dent it, and just be ready to catch it too. This probably isn't good. I'm gonna try to fit this guy, this little pry bar. It's a little thick though. On this side. There you go, it's coming. So we'll rip this guy off. There we go. Finally. Alright. Nice. Not too much damage, but I might have to sort of just bend the lip on this just a little bit the opposite direction, just a tad. So now what I have to do is just clean up this mating surface on the block as best as I can, and then I'm probably gonna spray some brake parts cleaner as well to make sure there's no oil residue or anything like that. So scrape this free. So we're also going to go ahead and clean all of our bolts off. Just going to clean them with brake parts cleaner. Do a little scraping as well. Okay, with the engine block all cleaned up, for the most part, still got to wipe a little bit more down with some brake cleaner, but for the most part, once you get it all cleaned up, then we can go ahead and apply our RTV to our oil pan. So I do have this Felpro gasket that I could use. It was like 18-20 bucks or something off Amazon. They sell it at Rock Auto and everywhere else. But after doing some research, it seems like a lot of people had trouble using this type of gasket. What it does is basically it spaces the oil pan out too much, and it makes it difficult to get the bolts for the AC compressor bracket back on. So I opted to just go with the RTV method, and well, it seems like it'll work fine. But yeah, this is an option, but just be wary that it could cause you issues. So I would probably suggest also going with the RTV. So I went ahead and cleaned off the mating surface with some isopropyl alcohol. Don't want to use brake cleaner because then it will strip the paint. I did end up buying a new oil pan because I kind of bent one of the sides when I was prying on it. It probably would still be fine, but these were only $55, so to me that's kind of worth it. And I didn't feel like having to clean up my old one. So I've got some Permatex RTV, oil resistant gasket maker, and I'm just going to spread a 2 to 3 millimeter bead around the perimeter and around every bolt hole. Probably used more than enough here, but you want to make sure you've got plenty on here. Better safe than sorry. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so once you got the VOC all cleaned up and you got your RTV on your oil pan, make sure you have your screws ready to go, and we're gonna throw this oil pan on. We're gonna start in the middle and kind of just make a X pattern and work our way towards the outside. Okay, so alright, so every bolt is on now, so we're just going to get these, tighten them up hand tight. And again, we're still leaving off these the four bolts that hold the AC compressor bracket. We can't put those on quite yet because otherwise we wouldn't have access to the two 12mm bolts, and we still have to torque everything to spec. So, alright, so an hour has passed, so now it's time to torque all of the oil pan bolts. So the small 10mm bolts need to be torqued to 7.2 to 8.7 foot-pounds. The two 12mm bolts need to be torqued to 19.5 to 22.4 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, we're going to be torquing them in a crisscross pattern, just alternating sides. Okay, everything's torqued, so there's some sealant that's started oozing out a little bit, so let's just clean that up. So once you get all the sealant cleaned up, we can go ahead and throw our air conditioning, the AC compressor bracket back on. And so we'll get it all lined up. I'm going to go ahead and start these two main bolts right here. So we can go ahead and throw these other bolts on. And these bolts are, again, they're 12mm, so they are going to be torqued to 19.5 to 22.4 foot-pounds. Okay, just make sure all your bolts are torqued. Now I have to tighten these AC compressor bolts down. Okay, so the two AC compressor bolts get torqued down to 14.7 to 24.3 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and torque those guys down now. Alright, so that's it. Now all we're going to do is remove the oil filter, replace it with a new one, and fill this bad boy up with oil. Don't forget you still got to reinstall the belly pan or the plastic cover. But yeah, once that's done, fill her up with oil and should be good to go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.